Good day, everyone. Welcome to the class. One more time. It's supposed to be Monday. I hope we are looking at this. We are doing this class on Monday, which is the day you are supposed to be doing it. So let me tell you about today's activity. All right. In today's activity, you will be working with this model, or better said, you are going to create this model. This is a magnifying glass, right? So it's the classic magnifying glass, the detective, Sherlock Holmes, mm, jewelry people, or I don't know, people use magnifying glass. I don't have a magnifying glass in my house. I don't know if you have a magnifying glass in your house. But that's not the point. The point is that you're going to start working, and this is your activity of today. By the end of this class, you're going to finish this little model that you are looking at right now. And as you can see, this is on Blender, and I have all the elements which I can select, and it's 1, 2, 3, and only 4 elements for this magnifying glass. Okay, it's not difficult. It's actually very simple, and we're going to have a that you're going to follow me during this tutorial to make the model in the part 1, and in the part 2 you're going to make the materials, because as you can see, this magnifying glass, it is glass, or at least it looks like glass. It appears to be glass. There's no transparency. There is another process, or there is another step to make it look transparent, but it gives you the idea of glass, of transparent glass. So we're going step by step. This is the one that we're going to do now. So to make this, you're going to use cylinders and spheres, and that's it. No cubes for this one. Cylinders and spheres, and of course a plane, because well, you need a plane in order to make a good render, because any other way you'll have your magnifying glass floating around in empty space, and that's not good. Okay, so let's begin with step number 1. I just wanted to show you what is it that you're going to do. So I'm going to start a new one. I'm going to start a new file so you can follow me around and start doing what I'm doing. Okay, just give me a second here. There's something I want to see, and yes. Okay, all right. So we're going to start. Step number 1. For this activity, you're going to use something called a reference image. Okay, it's always good practice to start a model by using a reference image. And in another activity, I ask you something similar with the Steve Minecraft. I ask you to find Steve online, on you find a picture of a Minecraft character on Google, and watch that image, observe, and use it as a reference to create your own model. Yes, but this time we're going to take that step further, and we're going to use that reference image inside our Blender project. So in the description of this video, you will see a download file for an image, and that image on that file, it's this one right here. It's the one that I'm showing you. Okay, this is the image that we're going to use as a reference image, and we're going to model our magnifying glass according to this little picture that we have here. Okay, so download this picture, and then when you download it, you're going to insert the picture into your Blender file in order to make it visible. So how do you make that insert? How do you insert your image into Blender? Well, first you have to position yourself in the correct view. let me tell you how you insert first. Okay, this is the not the best way what I'm going to show you, but I want to show you what would be wrong. So to insert an image into Blender, you have to go to the add menu right here, or you press Shift A. Let me activate my screencast keys so you know what my keys are. So you can go to the add menu, and then usually you add things from mesh. But this time you're not going to add anything from mesh. Well, yes, but later. But right now, I want you to find this option on the menu, that is the image menu, that image option. So click on the image, and you have two options: reference image and background image. You're going to select background image, and it's going to ask you for the picture. So navigate through your folders until you find the picture that is called magnifying glass.jpg. Select it and load background image. And voila, you have a background image. But there is a problem. Look at that. This is the problem. You have selected your background image and it's floating in space, but it's not in the right position. Because if I rotate my camera, I'm going to rotate the image, and well, it's going to be difficult to work with the image like this. So in order to fix this, I'm going to Control C until I erase it. That's it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with views. Remember, you have view options. If you go to view, viewpoint, then you have all of these viewpoints. You have your camera viewpoint, which takes you directly to the camera. You have your top view. You have your bottom view, which is the object seen from the bottom. You have your front view. Apparently all of this looks the same because we're looking at the same cube. And then you have your back and your right and your left. Okay, so I want you to position yourself, or I want you to select the top button, the top view. That's it. You know that you are in the top view because in the left upper corner it says top orthographic. If you change that to right or back or left or bottom, it's going to change the name here. Bottom orthographic, top of orthographic, left orthographic, right orthographic. Okay, so right now I want you to select top orthographic. There is another way to select the top orthographic view by using the gizmo of the axis in the right upper corner. You can click on any of the axes. Now, let's, for example, if I click on the y-axis, click on the circle, and it's just click. It's not click and drag. No, it's just click and release. Right now, I am in the back orthographic. If I click on the X, that takes me to the right orthographic. That's not what I want. I want the top orthographic. So I'm going to click on the Z axis, and that takes me to the top orthographic. All right. Now, within the top orthographic, I'm going to the Add menu, Image, Background, and there I'm going to select again my image, my magnifying glass, load background image, and voila. Now I have a background image, but that's not the magic of it. The magic of it, or the good thing, is that if you rotate your camera to the perspective view, your image apparently disappeared, but it's not disappeared. It's just that it's only visible in the orthographic view, not on the perspective view. It's only visible on the orthographic. Look at this. If I toggle on or off the orthographic from the perspective view, that makes my image appear and disappear. This is perspective, this is orthographic. I activate or deactivate this view by clicking on this button, on this grid button right here under the camera button. And of course, if I select again my Z axis, if I click on it again, I enter the top orthographic view, and that makes my magnifying glass reference image visible again. It's just the same if I go to view menu, viewpoint, and select the top view, and it takes me to the same place as clicking on the Z axis. So that's it. I have my reference image ready. I'm going to erase this cube because I have no use for it. Okay, I don't really need this. And I'm going to go back to the Z view again. All right, so I'm going to do something here. I'm going to start adding elements. I told you that you were going to use a cylinder and a sphere, and I forgot to tell you that you're also going to use a torus. So we are still using basic shapes to create this magnifying glass, but we're going to do some modifications to this. Okay, so what are you going to do? First, you're going to add, we're going to start adding geometry now. You're going to add a mesh, a torus mesh or a torus object. That's what I want you to do. But be careful here. I want you to click on the torus so it creates the new torus, and I want you to pay attention to the left corner, the left down corner of your screen. There is a menu. It says add torus, and you're going to click on that menu, and it's going to show you all of these options. Sorry, my left mouse and the mouse is over there. But what are these options for? Well, with these options, I can create, or well, I can modify the options of the torus. For example, the torus has horizontal and vertical segments. Okay, in this case, they are called major segments and minor segments. The major segments by default are set in 48. 48 are this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in this view, these are the vertical segments. And the minor segments are 12. And in this view, the minor segments are the horizontal or the loop. The big loop segments is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 from the other side, and that makes it 12. Well, if I increment the major segments, look at what happens. Maybe it's not so visible, but the lines are duplicating. And if I decrement, if I go the opposite way, instead of 42, I go less, look at this torus, look at what's happening. I'm creating a different figure. So what I want to do is I want to leave this at 42. I don't want to move it. And I just wanted to show you that with this tool, you can make an even more detailed figure, more than it is already. But it's not necessary to do it because today you're going to learn how to create new geometry from low poly objects by using a modifier. That's an important part of this class. Okay, so with this you can select the segments, but the really important thing here, it's not about the segments, it's about the radius, the major radius and the minor radius. That's what you're going to modify. The major radius right now it's in 1 meter, and the minor radius right now it's in 0.25 meters. So I'm going to increase the major radius. Yes, I'm going to increase it right about there. I'm going to leave it at 2.7. 2.7, that's what I want. And I'm also going to modify the minor radius. Look at this. If I go all the way up, I'm creating a donut, but that's not what I want. I want to go all the way down, and I want to create a thin vessel. That's what I want. This is going to be the rim around my magnifying glass. So just to check, I want a 2.7 meters major radius and a 0.12 meters minor radius. Okay. Now you can click out and click again. It's important to notice that these options are only available at the moment of the creation of the torus. Now that I clicked out and in again, I don't have those options again. Those options disappeared. Yes, look at this. It's not here anymore. So if I want to modify the torus again, I will have to go and select the vertices, the individual vertices, and create, well, modifications in this case. But that's not what I'm going to do, not now. So if you happen, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to hide it. If you happen to create the torus, and of course this is not the torus in the first place. The torus in the first place looks something like this. So if you happen to create a torus and you clicked outside and you clicked it again, and then these options disappeared and are not visible anymore, I'm sorry, but you have to delete the torus and create it again so you can see these options, the add torus options, and you have to click on it so to expand, and then again just modify this to the values that I just gave you a while ago, a moment ago. So let me erase this one, and I'm going to stay with this. So this is what I want, this thin rim, this thin ring. I'm going to open my top view, or select my top view, and right now I can see that my ring, or this area, is not where I need it. So that's why I want my reference image, because with this reference image you're going to start positioning your elements right where you need them. Yes, that's exactly what I need. That's exactly what I want. I want my ring right there. And there's something else I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the right view. You see, I'm not on the top view, not Z anymore now. I'm going to the right view. So to enter right view, or to select the right view, I'm going to click on the X right here in the gizmo, and that takes me to my right view. Now I'm going to scale on the Z axis to make this bigger, like this. Look at the distance I am selecting. It's about 2 squares. 1, 2. So it was right here, and I just took it on one axis, and now it's a little bit thicker. And that is going to create one very important part of my magnifying glass. Okay, next element of the magnifying glass, the handle. And the handle is created by using 2 cylinders. Okay, let's create the first cylinder. We're going to leave the actual glass of the magnifying glass at the end. That's going to be at the end. Okay, so I'm going to create now a cylinder. So I'm going to the add menu and mesh and select cylinder. So as you can see, this cylinder is way too big. So I have to make it smaller. Remember, you can make things smaller by selecting the scale tool and clicking anywhere inside this circle, and it creates or it modifies in proportionally. Doing this and this is a mistake, because you are deforming your cylinder. It's not a perfect cylinder anymore. So if you want to make perfect proportional modifies of your mesh, just don't click on the handles, don't click on the color handles, click anywhere inside this white circle. Just click and drag inside, and that is going to help you create something like this. Okay, so right now what you have to do is use your criteria to make it a regular size, so to speak. I'm going to enter again. I'm going to select the right view, not the right view. I'm going to select the front view. Yes, because I want to see it like this. I'm going to select the front view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my handle. All right, but this time I don't want to rotate. I don't want to rotate using this, because I want to make a perfect rotation. And by perfect rotation, I mean I want to be able to rotate it in specific number of degrees. I want a 90 degrees rotation, because I need my cylinder to be not vertical, I need my cylinder to be horizontal. So to make that happen, I'm going to use the shortcuts for this. So you can rotate by using this, or you can rotate by using the shortcut, and the shortcut is the letter R, Press R, then you start rotating. But I want to rotate only in one axis, and that is the green axis, aka the yellow axis. That's it. But I don't want a free rotation. I want an exact rotation. So I'm going to write the numbers. That's all I have to do. So right now, again, what I did is I press S, and then I press Y, and I'm not pressing anymore. Sorry, it's not. Scratch that. It's not S. S is for scaling. Press R, and then press Y, so you can lock on the Y axis. Yes. And then press 9, and then press the 0 to write 90 degrees. You press 90 degrees, 9, and then follow that with a 0. And right now I have my rotation set to 90 degrees exactly. You can look at that right here in this corner. It says rotation equals 90 degrees. Now to apply this, you have to press enter. Now you're pressing enter, and I have my horizontal cylinder right there. I'm going to enter the top view again, and I'm going to continue modifying this little thing to make it the right size and also the right orientation, just like that. Okay. So as you can see, I have my little figure right there, my little cylinder. Remember, you're using this as a reference. It doesn't have to be perfect, not this time, but it has to be used as a good reference. So as you can see, the cylinder is too short, and it's probably not the right size, so I'm going to scale it down a little bit. What I want is I want the right side and the left side to be similar to my reference image right here. I know the reference image has a different has these things right here, right? These curvatures. We're going to work on that later. What I want now is to have the general proportions. I'm going to select my cylinder and go into edit mode. I'm going to click the letter A to deselect. So I have to press the letter A 2 times really fast. So I press A to select, and I press A 2 times to deselect. And I'm going to select all of these vertices only. Only these vertices right here. Come on. Just like that. So I need all of those vertices because I want to enter again the top view. And now I'm going to move these vertices right here on the z-axis. Let me repeat that again. So I'm going to start moving. Yes, but as you can see, I don't want to move on this side. I don't want to move on the green axis, or I don't want to move on the red axis, because that's not the movement that I want. So I'm not going to use this tool. I'm going to use the shortcut. So again, the shortcut for moving is the letter G. Look at the letter I just pressed. Then I start moving freely. So whatever I move my mouse, this is going to move. But that's not what I want. I want to move on the Z axis, so I'm going to press Z axis. I'm going to press Z, but I have to press the letter Z again in order to make it work. Yes. So I repeat, with all of those vertices selected, press the letter G, and then press the letter C once and twice, 2 different times, okay? But of course in the top view, just like this. G and Z, and that's what I want. And I'm going out of edit mode into object mode. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate this cylinder because I need another cylinder to make the black area or the black part of this magnifying glass. So I'm going to make sure this cylinder is selected, and I'm going to press the combination of letters Shift D to make a copy of that. Shift D is duplication. So I'm going to make a copy, and I position that here, and I click. And then I'm going to scale because this is bigger than the other one. Yes. And I'm going to make the same thing. Well, these vertices are selected still. With these vertices selected, if you don't have these vertices selected, this group of vertices selected, make sure you select this group of vertices. So with these vertices selected, again, I'm going to press G and start, and then I press Z and then Z again, and start moving to create the length, the right length of my magnifying glass. So if you take a look around, what you have now is this. It's not finished yet, but it's getting closer. Okay. What I want now, okay, what you're going to do now is you're going to make a sphere. But be careful here, we want the UV sphere, not the icosphere. You want the UV sphere. Okay, so create this sphere. Go into the top view, and you have to position this sphere in the center right here, and then scale up until the sphere touches the other, the torus right here, the ring of your magnifying glass. So if you take a look on the right side or the other side, this is not what you want, okay? Because this is a huge sphere. You want a glass, so you're going to select the sphere, and now you can use this. Go to the scale tool and select the blue axis. You're going to resize on a blue axis, click, and then move it down until your sphere becomes something similar to the glass of a magnifying glass. All right, you're almost finished. You are almost there. Let's add a little details now. Some details. Okay. So right now you have the basic proportions of your magnifying glass, but you don't have everything correct because there is a little detail here in this area that I want you to complete. Yes, first of all, I think I need this to be a little bit there. I'm going to activate the view for wireframe because I want to be able to look through my mesh. I want to be able to look not to the solid of the mesh, but I want to view through, like it's transparent, because I want to see what I have under that, and so I can make sure I'm doing the right thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this little piece and enter edit mode on this piece, and then I'm going to use the loop cut tool, which you already know is this one, and I'm going to click again. I'm going to click and slide to position this loop cut right here. You see, I am aligning these loop cuts with the cuts that are already in my reference image. And this, I'm going to make a cut here, and then another cut here, and then another cut here in the middle. Okay, so I ended up creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cuts for this. Okay, well, actually here I'm going to create 2 more cuts. One here and another one here. Okay, so let's begin with this one, the first one. Well, it's not like it's the first one, but let's begin with this, which is the one that I want. Let me change my view again. So I need to deactivate the loop cut tool. I'm going to select my selection tool again. and I want to select all of these vertices. Now, the logic will tell you that you have to shift click on all of this individually, but no, there is another way. There is another way of selecting a ring of vertices. Okay, and that is actually a very simple way to do it. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure you're not selecting anything, and then you're going to make a click but using the Alt key. Let me do that again. Press the Alt key. The Alt key is next to your spacebar. And pressing the Alt key, click on any of these vertices. When you click on any of these vertices, all of the vertices, all of the vertices are selected. If you selected in the horizontal instead of the vertical, well, make sure you are clicking between the vertices. Not the vertex itself, but maybe click on the edge between two vertices. And then you're going to select everything on that loop. That's a very nice trick. And next, what you're going to do is you're going to scale it down. So by pressing the letter S to activate the scaling tool, you're going to scale it down to make this shape, the shape that you need, the shape that you want. Look at this. So how much of a scale you're going to do? Well, it depends on your reference image. I think about this is pretty good. And then I'm going to select this loop of vertices. And by pressing, again, you have to press Alt and then click on an edge to select everything, to select all of the vertices loop. And then by pressing Alt and Shift and clicking here, you're going to select all of this. Let me show you another way. If you change your select mode from vertices to faces, remember it's up here, it's very similar. So you can click by pressing Alt, you click on one face and it's going to select all the ring of faces right here. So this is not for selecting vertices, this is for selecting faces. And in this case, I want you to select these faces because you're going to, again, press the S button to scale it down and you're going to find the place where this goes. It's somewhere around here. Nice. I really like this. It looks really, really good. Okay. Okay. All right. So what you're going to do next is something that you need to do in order to create a smooth finish on this. Now, as you can see, all of these segments are not curves. All of these segments are straight lines, and that is the case with everything polygonal. You're not dealing with curves, you're dealing with straight lines, but as you have more segments joined together, you create the illusion of a curvature. So if I make this, if I go and zoom out, you think this is a circle, right? It appears to be a circle, but if you zoom in, if you zoom in enough, you're going to start seeing the straight line. Okay, so we're going to use modifiers now. These modifiers are going to help you create more segments, but it's not going to cost you CPU performance. That's the magic of a subdivision surface. That's the way of the subdivision surface. So let me introduce to you the modifier panel. The modifier panel is on the right where all the panels live, right here. You have many panels. You have the render properties panel, you have the scene properties panel, you have the layers, you have the world properties, you have the object properties panel, you have the modifiers panel. This is the particle system. This is the physics simulation. This is the materials, which is the one you have used. So all of these panels are necessary for different things, for different applications. we're going to take it slow, one at a time. You learn how to use the material panel in the previous classes, and now you're going to learn to use the modifier. So if you click on this little tool, this blue tool right here, click on it, and the only thing you see is the button add modifier, because by default none of your objects have any modifiers. But if you click on add modifiers, you see all of the options available. So modifiers are here to help you create different geometry from your mesh. So I'm not going into details with all of them, not today. Right now, I want you to find the one that says subdivision surface. Find it. It's on the generate column. That is the second column, and it's the fourth from the bottom up. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Subdivision surface. So click on subdivision surface. Right there, you have to start seeing something different. Now you have more segments on your ring. Let me show you again. This is without the modifier, and this is with the modifier. Without and with, without and with. And you can also change that and give it even more subdivisions by modifying the render properties and the viewport properties. It's a how many subdivisions do you want? Well, in my render I want 3. So you can move the render one all the way up, and it's not going to cost you anything. The render, it's only going to work when you are rendering things, right? When you are in a rendering process. So I recommend you leave the render to 3. And the viewport, right now it's in 1. I recommend you put it in 2. And right there, you have very small segments that are almost invisible to your eye. You're going to do the same with the glass. Select the glass, and again, you have no modifiers. So select the subdivision surface modifier and make sure the render is on 3 and viewport is on 2. Okay, that's very nice. Something else we have to do is we're not going to apply subdivision to the handle, because that would make it look terrible. Look at what happens if you add subdivision to the handle. Whoop, it looks like I don't know what this is. It looks weird. But yeah, we don't want to. There is a way to fix that, but we're not going to do it now. So no, we don't want to add subdivision to this handle or this one. But what we're going to do is we're going to change the shading options from flat to smooth by doing this. Did you see that? Did you see it? Let me show you again. You're going to right click to show the context menu. It's a right click, and you have 2 options. You can shade smooth or you can shade flat. Right now you have shade flat, but I want you to shade smooth. You're going to do the same with this one, shade smooth. Just like this, to make it look like one piece, not many segments. And you're going to do the same with your glass, shade smooth, and with your ring, shade smooth. And right now you have no visible segments and no visible pieces. If you want to select them, they are there, of course, right? But when you are rendering and viewing, they are not there. You see a smooth surface, and that's what you want. Right now, that's what you want. Okay, so you have your magnifying glass. Now the next step is make it look like glass and create the materials that you need. So we're going to take this to the next level, and we're going to move from the solid view to the material preview. Because if we don't do this, you're not going to look at the changes on your material. So remember to change to material preview. You click on this circle, or you press the letter Z and click on material preview right here. Okay, remember you're on solid and you have to change to material preview. So let's start with the handle. Let's select the handle, and this is going to be black according to your Okay, according to your reference image, this is glossy black. So we're going to select it, not render. We're going to select, we're going to the material tab, create a new material, and make this material. Click on the base color and make this color a dark black color. Maybe all the way down to the black. Yes, that's it. But now this is not a glossy material. It doesn't look glossy at all, because we need to modify some other properties. Now, this is something I haven't told you yet, but all of these properties help you create different textures and different materials. Now, for example, if you want this to be polished, more glossy, there is a property that is called roughness, and by default is in the center. It's in 0.5. If you take the roughness up, look at what happens to your material. It has no reflections, zero reflection, no light is reflected. But if I take the roughness down, it has even more reflection. Now it's a very reflective surface. You see this? But you don't want this not so reflective. So don't take it all the way down to 0. My recommendation is take the roughness in 0.4. That's it. You can do it by hand. You can do it by typing 0.4 and pressing enter. Yeah, this looks very nice. I like this. Okay. Next, this little thing and this little thing, both of these objects are going to be the same material. It's a metallic kind of material. Okay, so you're going to click on new. And it's okay that the base color is white. Maybe you want to do it a little gray, probably. Yeah, it's okay. But this is not metallic, not yet. But if you want to make this metallic, well, there is a property right here under this subsurface color. You don't have to change subsurface color. You can leave it white. But the base color needs to be gray. And there is a property that is called metallic. So if you take this property and take it all the way up to 1, now you have a metallic object, but it's not exactly polished or even glossy as you want, because again you have to down the roughness. You have to take the roughness down. If you take the roughness up, you have rough metal. But if you take the roughness down, now you start having glossy metal like this. My recommendation is leave the roughness to 1.5. Sorry. So 0.15. 0.15. That's what you want. And now you will have this, a little metallic aluminum or steel, stainless steel piece on your handle. And we're going to apply the same to this. We're going to apply exactly the same material to this ring. So select the ring, and you're not going to create it again. You're going to click here and select your material 2. And that material 2, it's the same. It's that exactly what you want. So we're almost finished. Now we have metallic here, and glossy black here. Now you want to select the glass. Now you're going to create a new material. Now remember, it's always good practice to name your materials. I haven't named my materials. I'm going to name them here. This is going to be metal. And this one is also, and this is going to be black plastic. Okay, it's always a good idea to name your materials. So this guy is not going to be metallic, so metallic is going to be on 0. But the roughness is going to, this time we have to take the roughness down to 0, all the way down to 0. And it's not exactly what you were expecting. Right now it looks like ceramic, like white ceramic, because we don't have transparency. To make it transparent, we have to create, or we have to modify now the transmission property. Transmission is what makes transparent the objects. So it's not going to look exactly transparent, but if you take transmission all the way up to 1, now it looks like glass. You see this? You see the effect? Now you have your first glass, your first glossy glass. I'm not happy about this result right here. I'm not loving the texture that Shade Smooth is giving to this. But okay, maybe next. No, yeah, no, I don't. I think I'm going to leave it shade flat, just for this time, just for this one. All right, just for this once, I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, and there you go. You have a magnifying glass. Are you happy with your result? I hope you are. Okay, so this is the class. If you have any questions, just ask me. Remember, I am here live answering any question you have for whatever reasons. Oh, there's something else. There's one thing I just want to say. So you may be wondering, what is this? What are these reflections on this metallic thing? It looks like we are in the forest, and as a matter of fact, yes, you are in the forest. But you can select other materials to be reflected on your metallic and on your glass. How do you do that? Well, you click here, right next to your viewing options, the wireframe, the solid, the material preview, and the render preview. Look at the render preview is not the best looking thing because we don't have any good lights or setup. That's why we are going to do everything here on the material preview. But right next there is a little arrow, and if you click on the arrow, you're going to look at this chrome, like a chrome ball. Click on the ball, and you will see all of these options. These options are options for the reflections and the temperature of the light that is around your object. So maybe this is by night, right? This is also by night. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Studio light. This is also sunrise. This is studio exterior, and this is sunset exterior. Okay. So you have different options here for illumination. You select whatever you like more. You have the one you had was this. This was the original one, the number 3. The one that looks like there are trees and leaf on the ground. It's an interesting thing. And there is the sky. If you look from down up, you look at the sky and the top of the tree. If you look down, you're looking at the dirt that is under that. So it's not really there, but it is. I don't know how to say it. So let me show you what this is. If you take your world opacity and the blur down, this is exactly what you're looking at. This is the picture you're looking at. So all of these pictures are pre-loaded on Blender to give you an idea of the lighting of your setup. And you can change. Now you have a city, and then you have a, I don't know, it looks like a house, patio house. And then you have like this forest. And then you have the inside of a hotel room with, of course, with warm lights. And you can check all of this and select whatever you think it's best for you or work best for you. If you don't want to see these options, I mean, if you don't want to see these images and you want to go back to your gray background, just take the world opacity back to 1, and the blur, it's okay. You don't have to take it back to 5, but it's a good thing to do it. And well, guys, that's it. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a nice class. And if you're having any problems with your result, just ask me anything and I can help you with it. All right. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and I will see you. We'll see you next class.